Fuck, we're 2 minutes early.
Yeah.
Okay, we are live. Yeah.
नहीं है यार मेरे पास लाइव।
आज चलेगा भाई हिमांशु, आजा लाइव है हम लोग। पूरी दुनिया सुन रही है तेरी बातें।
Okay, sorry.
Alright. Quite a while, huh? Quite a while since we did one of these our normal
lives.
fucking setups. तो में से एक अगर ग्रुप पर डाल सकता है कि हम लोग लाइव हैं तो फिर बहुत ही बढ़िया हो जाएगा।
हिमांशु डाल दो।
डालो।
3 people already watching. We're early, so 5 people. Nice. I'm hoping more people join today. हमने थंबनेल ऐसा बनाया है, थोड़ा टाइटल भी वैसा रखा है, पहले भी डाल दिया, थोड़ा अभी कायदे से काम हो रहा है, शेयर वेयर कर दिया, तो आ तो जाना चाहिए वैसे लोगों को। अब तक तो उन लोगों को आ जाना चाहिए था, बट hold on, let me just figure out everything. All right, 6 people watching, 7 likes. Thank you so much. And we're back with another episode of the DissContent podcast. I'm Aditya Khanna. With me is Bharat Misra.
Hello.
And Himanshu Arya.
Hi guys.
And we're back with, by the way, oh fuck, sorry, I missed this out. This is episode 80. All right, this is like we're 20 short of 100, guys. I think this is, and it's very good because it's also happy Independence Day to all of you all. If you're from India, and if you're from Pakistan, happy belated Independence Day. So yeah, Harkirat Singh, hello folks, long time indeed. So this episode we're going to be discussing the film Lal Singh Chaddha, which is a remake of Forrest Gump. I was really hoping to dislike the film because I wanted to use the title of this video to be like Forrest Hump, but वो फिर रह गया. So we have to go with Lal Singh Chaddha hate justified type of. कि आजकल we are told that question mark डालते तो और लोग click करते हैं, but we'll find out very soon if that's true. Anyway, so starting off the discussion, guys, what are first thoughts on Lal Singh Chaddha, or do you want to talk about first Lal Singh Chaddha, or do you want to talk about the boycott campaign and all of that, because that is, I feel, very like important when discussing this film. तो तुम लोग बताओ क्या करना है?
I think
पहले यार देखो बॉयकॉट समझाओ, क्योंकि मैं ना ट्विटर पे नहीं हूँ तो मुझे नहीं पता क्या हो रहा है। बॉयकॉट क्यों हो रहा है? व्हाट इज द, इज इट पीके, इज इट द सेम?
it is PK is one part of it. Yes.
PK is one part. I guess if you really want to go back to the old days, then Narmada Bachao Andolan can also be looped in.
Yeah.
If you remember. By the way, which reminds me, Aamir Khan का एक बहुत पुराना इंटरव्यू है, जिसमें नर्मदा बचाओ आंदोलन में उसको I can't find that fucking interview anyway. I think it was on NDTV, where when Modi was Gujarat CM, he was asked, will you apologize to the CM of Gujarat, for saying this stuff about Narmada and all that, about the whole dam project. And he said, no, why should I apologize? He should apologize to the people. मतलब काफी character arc पूरे देश का बदला है along with these two characters. तो या आई थिंक ट्विटर पर तो बॉयकॉट वैसे आजकल आई फील लाइक
बॉलीवुड का बॉयकॉट हो रहा है ना, लाइक द एसएसआर थिंग इज कंटिन्यूइंग, राइट?
But I think like with the Kashmir files, this is the first actual, I would say, successful attempt by right wing to diss Bollywood. क्योंकि अभी तक भी boycott हर चीज को ही करते रहते थे, बोलते रहते थे, but it never had the kind of I would say popular vote as right now, because I can see the effects of this boycott in my family groups, in people nearer. Like
Absolutely.
It has actually gone beyond Twitter is what I feel. Pehli baar. Very much like how Vivek Agnihotri went beyond Twitter with Kashmir files. It went into
that is very
homes.
true, Bharat, because I feel like the litmus test of a propaganda project, whether by whichever side of politics, is that whether it goes beyond Twitter
exactly.
or not. So
और पता है मतलब फनी है कि बहुत सारे लोग बोल रहे हैं कि हाँ बॉयकॉट करेंगे, हम बॉयकॉट, बट nobody can actually explain why. मतलब at the end of the day they can't say ना कि वो मुसलमान नाम है.
Correct.
क्योंकि it is that weird. वरना कोई रीजन नहीं, ऐसी चीजें तो मतलब अब
they're finding like flaws in the movie,
या
but it's not possible, right? The movie
इट्स नॉट
has it's मतलब there are no ideological like the film is not what
Yeah,
they wanted it to be.
I have a conspiracy theory about this. Not
ओके.
a conspiracy, it's more of an anti-conspiracy theory, which is that I personally think this is out of the control. I don't think this is like a right-wing political it's like, you know, when you ride a tiger and then you fucking fall out of it, but you can't control it anymore. So I think the right wing started this tiger during SSR, but they can't control it anymore. And I feel like, you know how in on social media there is this business model actually, which is you Ritik Roshan fan page, Shahrukh Khan my love, okay, whatever, these pages, and they only post about that actor or star or
या
whatever, and they reach a certain popularity eventually, and once they reach that, the page ka handle, they sell those pages pretty much to
या
like
या
anyone who wants to buy it, small businesses, whatever the fuck, whoever wants to get it. So I feel like they figured out pretty soon that, hey, people tend to share hateful stuff way more than supportive stuff. And then during SSR campaign, I think they realized this. And then they were like, let's make it into. So I feel like now, because it doesn't make sense, because it went against Akshay Kumar also. I mean, what else do you have to do? I'm just
सी
saying.
यू कैन फाइंड, अब वही है ना, जैसे
हाँ,
अक्षय कुमार की फिल्म में उन्होंने ढूंढ लिया कि कनिका ढिल्लन हुज द राइटर, शी
correct.
वाज वेरी वोकल अबाउट द ये एनआरए, नहीं कौन सा अपना
NRC भाई.
एनआरसी,
हाँ.
सॉरी, इट्स द वाइन टॉकिंग एट दिस पॉइंट, एनीवे.
Oh,
सो सीए एनआरसी वाला जो प्रोटेस्ट था उसमें बहुत सारे ट्वीट्स आए थे. सो दे स्टार्टेड बैनिंग दैट एज वेल, बॉयकॉटिंग दैट एज वेल. तो वो कहीं ना कहीं से यार कुछ ना कुछ धूल लोग, अब जैसे उन्होंने वो वीडियो निकाल दिया करीना कपूर का, राइट, जो उसने कभी पहले बोला था कि अगर आपको नहीं देखनी हमारी फिल्म तो मत देखो.
not the smartest thing to say as an
या
actor.
बट द थिंग इज शी डिडंट से इट नाउ, आई डोंट थिंक शी सेड इट नाउ.
नहीं नहीं, काफी पहले बोला था वो कुछ तो,
बहुत
आई
पहले बोला
थिंक.
था.
हाँ.
हाँ, वो ये नहीं था, इस बॉयकॉट के रेफरेंस में नहीं था वो, मतलब इट वाज नॉट अ रिस्पांस टू दिस कैंपेन,
Correct.
इट वाज अ रिस्पांस टू सम
I
अर्लियर.
think उड़ता पंजाब के बारे में था वो, I think
करेक्ट, कुड बी.
Possible.
उड़ता पंजाब में there was like a people are talking about that movie and trying to spread information that that film should be boycotted. तो
Look,
तब चल रहा था.
I personally feel like I don't, मतलब मेरे को ऐसा कुछ, I don't like, I don't feel like bad for this thing. I'm not like, hey, why are you? Though I do feel a sense of annoyance कि यार तुम boycott कर रहे हो, तुम्हारा खुद का दिमाग नहीं है क्या? मतलब तुम थोड़ा तो कभी, मतलब why are you getting this thing by bots? But what I felt genuinely after coming out of the Bharat and I watched it together, and when we walked out of the theater, the first thing I told him also was कि भाई ये movie अगर ये मूवी का कोई ऐसा सीन नहीं होता ना, बॉयकॉट या ऐसा, मतलब वो हु हल्ला नहीं होता, देन आई फील लाइक this would have been one of the biggest hits of Bollywood,
या
because it is such a crowd pleaser. It is, मतलब वो सब elements हैं उसमें, and I feel that is unfortunate, because as an industry, if you are, and though, what do you think the ramifications for this? Do you think there will be ramifications, or if there are, just as outsiders or partial insiders, as we can say, which is that, do you think it'll be like people will stop making big films and start betting a little small, aim small, miss small kind of strategy, and or will they like, or will nothing change and they'll just be like, fuck it, ride it out, we've seen worse? I mean, Bollywood has seen like gangsters threatening them, so I think this is
But I think this is
yeah.
more insidious than that now, because this is not some fringe element like a gangster, right? Gangsters were always not considered good. But now it's like your uncle and auntie, it's like they are saying कि ये लोग तो, so now there, अभी तक बॉलीवुड का सबसे बड़ा एरोगेंस का वो क्या था, लोग तो देखते आते हैं ना, आई नो द ऑडियंस, अभी वो खत्म हो गया, like, and this is like literally happened in a span of a couple of years. It's not been longer than that. 5 साल पहले, अभी से 5 साल पहले ऐसा कुछ नहीं था, मतलब वो फ्रिंज एलिमेंट्स थे. व्हाट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द बॉयकॉट गैंग, वो लोग फ्रिंज एलिमेंट्स थे. पीके के अगेंस्ट बॉयकॉट किया था इन्होंने, दंगल के अगेंस्ट किया था, दंगल बिकेम द बिगेस्ट हिट एवर, राइट, इन बॉलीवुड हिस्ट्री, व्हाटएवर.
करेक्ट.
सो माय पॉइंट इज कि सडनली दे हैव रियलाइज्ड कि हमारा जो मेन बेस ही है वही हमें बॉयकॉट कर रहा है. तो आई थिंक इट इज बिगर देन जस्ट अ वील राइड इट आउट काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन, इन माय ओपिनियन. ऑल्दो आई डोंट नो कि इसके आगे होगा क्या, हाउ विल दिस इम्पैक्ट, आई डोंट नो.
I genuinely hope they stop banking on massive stars to carry films, though those are important films to also like to carry off. I mean, there's a reason why French film industry never is not a thing anymore. So like even though they were the ones who basically started stuff, but though I do think that these tentpole films help you carry your industry forward. But मेरे हिसाब से अगर थोड़ा और reliance, if it comes on putting the story at the forefront instead of banking everything on the star, I think, I don't know, I'm just hoping for like a positive change from
I don't
Bollywood.
think, I feel, मुझे genuinely जितना लगता है, मेरी थोड़ी सी pessimistic इसमें thought है कि I feel this will push us further down the not right wing only, but like safe storytelling. We'll see a lot more. जो अभी in the recent past हो ही गया Bollywood में, right? They're playing everything is being played like they're playing it safe. जैसे now this has been talked about a lot, but लाल सिंह चड्ढा का जो disclaimer है वो इतना ही मतलब it is
लंबा है
a
यार,
जो हम देख ही नहीं
बहुत
पाए,
लंबा है.
भरत and I walked in just as that
yeah
feather fell in his lap.
The
yeah
movie takes half an hour to start. This film takes half an hour to start.
And that's not because of Aamir Khan's pauses. Yeah.
हाँ, and मतलब बट वैसे भी एडिट थोड़ा स्लो किया है यार इन लोगों ने. सबका नाम डाले, सबको थैंक यू बोला है, इतने लोगों को थैंक यू बोला है, राम गोपाल वर्मा को भी थैंक यू बोला है. कुछ
क्या
तो चल
बात
रहा है
कर रहा
अंदर. पढ़ा था मैंने सबका नाम.
अभी देख शाहरुख खान की जितनी भी मूवीज का उन्होंने देखा. ओके ये नहीं कहना था क्या
शाहरुख
But-
खान की कितनी भी क्या
नहीं,
मूवीज के
वी आर डूइंग स्पॉयलर्स ना.
oh yeah
हाँ, by the way it's Forrest Gump, तो I don't think it's उतना ज़्यादा स्पॉइलर, बट ठीक है हम स्पॉइलर दे रहे हैं तो थोड़ा दिमाग में रखो अपने, बट ऐसा कोई है नहीं स्पॉइलर मूवी.
I saw that they thanked everybody, all of the filmmakers जिनकी films इन्होंने दिखाई, जैसे मणिरत्नम का इन्होंने दिल से का शॉट लिखा है. Then I think they thanked Rakesh Om Prakash Mehra because they've used the same track, the एक ओंकार track
From Rang De Basandi.
from Rang De Basandi, exact same track, not
Same track. By the way, very well done. Yeah.
very well
Like
done.
one of the best parts of the adaptation was, I think, this additional arc of regaining the identity and spirituality.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I just want to stick to a couple of more points on the boycott thing. Okay, just to get that out of the way. I just feel like कि अभी it has reached a point. I am also scared about one more thing. Do you think कि देख जैसे मैं उस दिन ऐसे ट्विटर पे बॉयकॉट वाला ट्रेंड देख रहा था और किसी ने फोटो शेयर किया था which was कश्मीर फाइल्स का, like the budget and the money it made and all the other films that released around it around the same time by big studios and all, and it made no. Do you think Bollywood is shameless enough to be like, fuck it, dude, we gotta adapt the Agnihotri model? Like we gotta do you think? Because I feel like they are. I feel like I would like to believe that they are not that shameless कि हम लोग that we'll go full hog, but I'm scared. मतलब वो थोड़ा सा हो सकता है. Like so far, whatever, even supporting present government kind of films that they've made, it's all been, for example, it's all been like stuff like toilet or pads, or it's all looped in with government policies, but they're still positive social welfare kind of policies. Up Kashmir Files sort of changed the game on that front. Ki nahi, there is other stuff also.
We are aligning ideologically also. Now
Correct.
we're not just
Even
aligning.
in Lal Singh Chaddha, they talk very, very openly about the 1984 riots, right? So I have a feeling that we'll see a lot more of these stories, which by the way, there's a lot of interesting stories from the Congress era where you can criticize the government or show them in negative light. For example, अभी वो आ रही है ना, कंगना रनौत और अनुपम खेर की फिल्म आ रही है,
emergency वाला ना.
emergency वाला. So I think we're going to see a lot more post independence pre BJP films. उस area, I'm guessing we'll have an emergency. We already have an emergency film. We already have a 1971 war.
I thought you said we already have an emergency.
No.
But anyway,
maybe a Freudian slip, I guess. But नहीं, my point being कि उस पीरियड में मुझे लगता है, मेरा ये असेसमेंट था, मैं ये सोच रहा था इस बारे में कि आई थिंक वील गेट द पॉजिटिव इफेक्ट और द like positive side effect of this might be कि we'll see a lot more of these stories from our politics from before the BJP era. ऐसा मुझे लगता है. I hope that happens.
नहीं यार, वो hope तो रहेगी, but when I saw the emergency teaser with Bharat only, and it seemed pretty pro Indira Gandhi. I mean, Indira Gandhi is the only leader that the right wing loves. Okay, like they're like it's okay, dude. You jailed our people. Fuck it, सब माफ, तू बहुत सही है यार. मतलब वो उनको which I get also. Matlab, to some, if you are from that ideology, matlab, she sort of partitioned Pakistan once again, you know. So it's like she always had that on her sort of
अभी
to
अभी
her
मानेक
credit.
शॉ की फिल्म आ रही है by the way.
Sam Bag,
Uh,
that I'm excited for.
I'm
What
excited
an
for that.
interesting character. Yeah,
Yeah.
fascinating character. I feel like now, like एक और चीज हुई है पता है बॉयकॉट के बाद, काफी बॉलीवुड इंडस्ट्री साथ थोड़ा सा क्रिंज भी लगा मुझे कि ऐसे सब लोग आके बोल रहे गाइस प्लीज देखो, ये बहुत ही अच्छी मूवी है, ठीक है, मतलब ठीक है, इट्स अ गुड फिल्म एंड ऑल, बट द वे पीपल आर ऑल कमिंग टुगेदर, यू नो, ऋतिक रोशन ट्वीट कर रहा है या कोई और कुछ और बोल रहा है, सो
But you know, there's a lot of people who are also not speaking out. या किसी ने, मैंने कोई तो ट्विटर थ्रेड या कहीं पे देखा था कि some person has said कि I know an actor who's like a mid-level kind of an actor जिसको अच्छी लगी, who privately told me that he loved this film, but he won't post about it वरना you know boycott ना हो जाए.
ये कोई और भी, ये पता नहीं मैं कहाँ पर पढ़ रहा था, बट किसी ने तो लिखा था, आई डोंट नो वेयर आई रेड दिस, बट इट वाज सम एक्ट्रेस हु दिस पर्सन वाज टेक्स्टिंग
हाँ, I think
और
this is what I read.
उस एक्ट्रेस ने कहा था दैट आई लव्ड लाल सिंह चड्ढा एंड ऑल दैट, एंड देन दिस पर्सन सेड व्हाई डोंट यू शेयर इट, and she's like my producer will kill me, okay, like laugh emoji, so you know it's so that, but ठीक है, मतलब अभी I feel like कि I don't know, okay, forget it. That I guess unless we have anything more on the boycott front, we can talk about that. Or we can move on to actually talking about the movie, Lal Singh Chaddha. Let's get on to that. Bharat and him, you guys, all of us have seen Forrest Gump, right? So I saw it long ago. Himanshu, I know, saw it a day before the film.
Yeah, I think he can talk about it best.
Yeah, so Himanshu, why don't you start us off just on how does it compare to the original?
So I saw Forrest Gump one night before, and then the next morning I went to see Lal Singh Chaddha, and I noticed that it's a very matlab crazy copy. Like it's done like shot by shot, scene by scene. They have put in every element possible. They've done their best to copy it. So that's the thing that I don't think
वो तो legally किया है, तो adapt बोल सकते हो उसको, copy.
हाँ, but like matlab some people adapt stories and films, but they don't do it shot by shot. Na? They don't do it like you can play around with it. The thing is, they tried to tell the same story. They adapted it in our setting. I think what they did, there are some things I think they did better, and some things maybe worse. I don't know. The thing that I liked the best, okay, the part which I felt like connected with me the most was his character arc. I think Jenny got adapted into Kareena Kapoor's character better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which is Rupa. And then Kareena, they made it out Rupa underwear kar diya fir. But it was not bad. Like it was
bad.
That was
done
damn
well.
funny, dude. I तो laughed at that stuff. वो उसका कौन सा उसने original में Baba ऐसा कुछ तो shrimp
Baba
था ना
and
वो?
Gump Shrimp Company.
हाँ, correct.
So they did it like shot by shot. Huh? These things were like only thing is मतलब very मतलब they whatever was changed was like planned and changed. Otherwise कुछ planned भी नहीं था. मतलब they copied it, and I think it was fine. You know, I don't think they wanted to like Lal Singh Chaddha said the idea wasn't to make a great film.
What is the idea then?
I think it was literally shot by shot copy karo, okay, and we'll get it right. Like even the music, even the way we edit the music.
You know, the flop can be a blessing in disguise, because if it would have succeeded, we would have seen like we would have seen Back to the Future. Actually already सब तो हो गए हैं. Back to the Future बना दिया इन लोग ने, ठीक है, फिर वो अपना ये भी बना कोई तो
मुझे लगा My Name is Khan was like a better like spiritual adaptation. Do you get me?
नहीं
भाई तीनों खानों ने किया ये, ठीक है, genuinely think about it.
भारत was also that
नहीं,
only.
भारत is
हाँ.
देखा नहीं है यार
भाई भारत यही story.
भारत का ट्रेलर देख के मुझे लगा this is like trashy Forrest Gump, you know, Aamir Khan little more classy.
उसका वही है कि basically this simple guy, not a simple minded guy, but a simple guy living out his life through the you know events in history. And it is also, by the way, based on some South Korean film or one of these films, but it's very similar to Forrest Gump. And of course, My Name is Khan to hai, and then this. So all three Khans have tried. I do love like this acting better than any of the others, which is not saying a lot, but that's still
yeah. No, go on, please.
I personally think that they removed the whole ping pong thing, okay, and rightfully so, because they had to add in like an Arijit Singh song in the middle. Huh? it like you can tell na they took this out and they put this in.
Wait, what was the ping pong thing? I forget.
So there is an arc where he goes to China to play ping pong during the Cold War and he
Ah.
wins and the whole thing. Then that, and the thing is there is no actual correlation to like an Indian thing unless 83 में क्रिकेट खेलने भी डाल दिया वैसे, बट नहीं कर सकते ना उसको.
बट
तो
मेरा ये थ्योरी है, सॉरी, कि मतलब थ्योरी क्या है, आई थिंक दिस इज वेरी ट्रू, कि Forrest Gump had shown a lot of active involvement of Forrest in these events, and I think these guys realized midway or somewhere in the process कि यार हम लोग तो इतना इन्वॉल्वमेंट दिखा ही नहीं सकते, नहीं तो राइट्स हो जाएंगे, बॉयकॉट हो जाएगा. तो they did not show, like they just showed him literally walking with things happening in background. Like think about like Modi, Anna.
he is not participating. Yeah,
Not participating, he's just walking by.
अन्ना हजारे का तो मूवमेंट वो खाली ऐसे चल के चले गया, very much like Arvind Kejriwal, but anyway.
So
he just crossed it and then moved forward.
yeah, so I think they compensated it with the personal life. They've sort of elaborated on the characters. They have taken the characters beyond what they were in the original film, I think, and it sort of in the end becomes about some philosophical story, right? It becomes,
so I think that came out better here
exactly
than even Forrest Gump.
that exactly, I completely agree. मतलब मुझे लगा कि वो चीजें इसमें ज्यादा pertinently दिखाई हैं.
एक तो देखो जब फॉरेस्ट भागता है ना, it's not like I don't in the original film when Forrest is running it feels like he is doing it personally for his own mental health or something else, and then there is music in the background but it's not motivating, right? It is
उसमें भी jokes चल रहे होते हैं as far as I remember. एक shit happens वाला आ जाता है.
हाँ,
correct.
Things keep happening. यहाँ पे तो it
suddenly they make it motivating na, like
Yeah.
they add this motivational song in the back and he's running across India now, like trying to unite everybody together.
Okay, so I also want to give my views on the movie, which is that I actually really enjoyed it. ठीक है, मतलब मेरे को मजा आया. मतलब I don't enjoy most Bollywood movies, as anyone who's watching or listening to this podcast knows. तो मेरे को generally I felt entertained. I remember the Forrest Gump very little from my childhood, but मेरे को पता है क्या होता है basically. तो I agree with you guys. I think the overall, somehow, despite it being a very close sort of adaptation, it was I found that, as you guys said, the spiritual part of it, which I don't know, matlab spirituality to alag, chalo मैं अपना उस पे opinion नहीं दूंगा, but I mean they grasped that and made like somebody like me who doesn't buy into normally that kind of stuff very, like, I bought into it, and I bought into this character. I was very invested into this character, and I felt like despite not being involved in the political events of the country, I feel like they still managed to grasp, made a film about India, especially because when you in India, it's enough to just mention stuff, idhar matlab wo bhi nahi hota. So I'm glad that a film, first of all, to exists where we have a clear track of pretty much almost all significant events in our history from the 70s onwards, except for one, which is in 2002. But
नहीं, as all
that's the
or
only
as
one.
right wingers will say 1990.
नहीं 91 तो दिखाया ना,
Exodus नहीं
91
दिखाया.
तो हाँ, but अच्छा, they showed Ram Mandir, हाँ, correct. They didn't show the Exodus, they didn't show 2002, they did not. मेरे को तो ये भी लगा they didn't show the World Cup win, man, in 2007. I thought that could be an interesting scene कि वो ऐसा 90s में उधर देख रहा था, 80s में अपने टीवी पे देख रहा था पूरा गांव, and then like in the 90s,
In fact, cricket दिखाया नहीं after the 83 thing. कुछ भी नहीं दिखाया cricket के बारे में.
Correct.
I think they left the Forrest Gump का जो idea था ना कि like micro level and then macro level or whatever, they left it after a point. It wasn't anymore like a god lens, After a point it became a love story.
अरे,
And ठीक है.
Also, what I was saying was politics में लोग involved नहीं हुए, but they made I have to commend, like, first of all, though, as everyone knows, I'm pretty sure Aamir Khan में whatever film he works on, he has the last word on it. I'm pretty sure. Okay, so I'm glad that he's stuck to, like, despite not being too controversial, not doing all those things, he stuck to his this thing ki religion causes malaria, whatever it causes violence.
I think it's a very gutsy movie.
Very gutsy.
मुझे वो scene मेरा favorite है.
But वो flip कर दिया, sorry, वो उसने flip कर दिया ना, he made it keep वो
मजहब।
पाकिस्तानी बंदे को बोल रहा है कि तेरे की देश में
हाँ
देख, इन लोगों को बोल ढंग से रहने को, ठीक
करेक्ट।
है। तो विच वाज, चलो ठीक है, ओके ठीक है, डिस्काउंट पे मिला वो चीज, बट
क्योंकि
मिला, हाँ
पीके में
मतलब,
बोल दिया था उल्टा ना, पीके में
हाँ।
रॉन्ग नंबर बोल दिया था सब।
तो अब तक उसका बॉयकॉट चल रहा है, तो
बट वो
नहीं,
सीन
but
मेरा
can
फेवरेट
you
था।
see it's like Amir doesn't need to comment on all the boycott nonsense that is happening against this film and PK, because somehow Lal Singh Chaddha's message na, it kind of it's like a good answer on itself, you know.
हम्म,
Amir doesn't need to give an interview at this point, and I think that's a very good move, like very
या
planned out, like it feels like he planned it कि उसको पता था होगा boycott, already पहले ही बोल दिया उसने, and that's
ये है मेरा
smart यार.
जवाब।
Acha, I have a question for you guys. Would you guys consider yourselves like Amir Khan fans, not just the actor, but the personality and like the career and all that?
नो,
Oh,
आई एम
I
नॉट,
would
why
बिकॉज
यार.
is that?
I mean I am a fan of his acting for sure. I
Hmm.
think there is a lot of truth
Ha,
in his acting.
his acting is, he's done some really good, great roles, but that's what I was saying, like the
But
personality. तेरे को,
ऑफ लेट
हाँ,
ना मुझे लगता है कि उसकी फिल्मों में आफ्टर आई थिंक तारे जमीन पर
hmm.
इट बिकम्स अ लिटिल प्रीची, लाइक थोड़ा सा ना एक वो हैवी हैंडेडनेस लगती है मुझे, जो मुझे शाहरुख खान में नहीं लगती, एंड सलमान खान में तो छोड़ो हो ही नहीं सकती। विद
नहीं, बट
शाहरुख।
सोचो तीनों खान का ना
हम्म,
आइडियोलॉजी और थॉट प्रोसेस, फिलोसफी, व्हाटएवर started seeping in into their films,
हम्म,
and their personalities are so different that you can't help but like compare them, right?
या
And Amir at even now is stuck to his politics, and that's not a bad thing. That's
I think
नो
it's,
दैट्स
that's why
ट्रू,
I'm a fan of the personality, you know,
बट
because, huh, sorry, go
यार
on.
मतलब if you have to see this person through the films only, because I'm sure you guys don't know him personally, so
हाँ, नहीं
मुझे
अब तक तो नहीं, हाँ,
तो जैसे दंगल है, आई what stopped me from enjoying it was कि भाई ये बंदा, like it felt like a message film, it felt
hmm.
like I'm giving you a message, you better fucking understand this, okay? As opposed to, let's say again, maybe wrong example, but a Chakte India or a fan or a Zero or any of these films which Shah
हाँ,
Rukh Khan done, I feel there is more in terms of both performance and in terms of what the movies are about. Because I'm sure he
hmm.
also exerts a lot of creative control with his films, as much as
हाँ,
Amir Khan would. तो मुझे लगता है कि there is more uh, experimentation going on there with Amir
with
Khan. I
Shahrukh.
feel with Shah Rukh, with Shah Rukh's performances. If
I
you
think
guys,
Shahrukh experiments with storytelling,
yes,
while Amir
I'll
experiments with other things like his politics, his ideas, they seep in, right?
I'll tell you what, I have an analogy for the three Khans with the news world, ठीक है?
okay,
तो, and this is my only problem with Amir Khan is this, ठीक है? I really like his acting. I think in terms of an overall filmography for a star of his stature, he's done relatively less shit films. I mean, comparatively, मतलब उसका जो strike rate है in terms of films that I would remember nicely. The good ones are, I think, more than the ones that I don't like or I hate. But the analogy is this. I think, and the problem is this. I think if you were to consider, if I was to make an analogy in the news world, Salman Khan is like an Arnab, ठीक है? मैं जो बोल रहा है वो मैं बोल रहा है, खत्म बात. मतलब it's, I can do whatever the fuck you, I'm Salman Khan. Okay. The Shah Rukh Khan is more like a little charming also, a little
yeah,
this thing, a little like, you know, trying to be a little Rajdeep Sardesai types, you know, थोड़ा सा सबके साथ friendly,
middle
थोड़ा
game.
सा हाँ, middle game, fan since before, I'm approachable also यार, मतलब ऐसा, ठीक है? But I feel like Amir Khan का ना मेरे को रविश कुमार type लगता है, which is, you know, Ravish Kumar does this thing also, which is that, and I agree with his politics, but he does this thing where he's like, मैं तो बेचारा, मैं गंदा सा कोट पहन के आया हूँ, you know, like मैं तो नार्सिसिस्टिक नहीं हूँ इन लोग की तरह. बट आई फील लाइक आमिर खान का भी वो जो प्रॉब्लम ये है कि उसका नार्सिसिज्म दिख जाता है कैसे भी, जैसे तू बोल रहा था ना, वो मैं बता रहा हूँ ये चीज,
हाँ,
हेवी हैंडेड चीज होती है. तो whether it's a PK where he is the outsider and he's going to give you all the Three Idiots में भी मैं हूँ,
Three
मैं
Idiots.
कूल चीजें बताऊंगा आपको. लाल
Bro,
सिंह
but
चड्ढा में भी थोड़ा
have
बहुत
you guys
वैसा है.
seen
तो
have you guys
नहीं,
seen
so
Dhobi Guard? Do you guys
हाँ,
remember
Bodyguard
those
यार
movies?
यार
वो
वो
एक
He's
तो,
आउट,
tried, he's
वो
tried his
उसने
पर
किरण,
मैं वही तो बोल रहा हूँ अपनी वाइफ के लिए. एक
वो
तो वो
वाइफ
है,
के लिए
ठीक
बनाया
है.
उसने।
दूसरी बात मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, उसकी ऐसी अच्छी मूवीज भी है, बट मोस्ट मूवीज इन हिज पॉपुलर करियर, इट्स ऑलमोस्ट लाइक कि आई एम सो लाइक डाउन टू अर्थ, बट वो नार्सिसिज्म दिख जाता है, ठीक है, हर जगह वो कहीं ना कहीं दिखता है. तो मेरे को मेरे को वो काफी दो मिस्टर बिंग said tags Rajiv Sardesai will be on cloud 9. I can't believe I compared Rajiv Sardesai with Shah Rukh
शाहरुख
Khan.
खान.
So I don't think Rajiv Sardesai should have a good reason to be happy for that. I mean, I don't think there is a comparison really with Shah Rukh Khan, to be fair. But थोड़े comments ले ले.
हाँ
हाँ.
बताओ भाई.
But no, before you go to the comments, I want to know, what do you guys think of the music of the film? Because people are really, sort of talking about the album and all that.
I think it was
Because
good.
हाँ.
I liked a couple of songs. I don't think I'll listen to them like in isolation. But for the place and time, I think the film में बहुत work किए थे. Especially, I really liked. I mean, this is for personal reasons, I feel. But I really like the song when these guys are on that night wala, like they're walking throughout the night. Near
अरिजीत
India
सिंह
Gate.
सॉन्ग ना.
Every song is Arjit song in this movie. हरी तो
नहीं,
हाँ भाई, हर अरिजीत ने सब गाया है.
So
सारे
Kundir
गाए
का
नहीं,
कुछ नहीं है.
लास्ट में तो सोनू
I
ने
have no
गाया ना.
idea. I'm just
ओ
asking.
हाँ लास्ट तो सोनू गाया. करेक्ट हाँ लास्ट वाला सोनू.
Last में कौन है?
अबे
सोनू.
सोनू है जो जब
Sonu Sood.
अबे नहीं यार.
सोनू निगम यार.
Sonu Nigam.
What the hell?
Sorry, I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
spaced out for a second. Sorry.
नहीं लेकिन
So-
जैसे वो वाला यार क्योंकि I think a lot of what they've shown in that India Gate stretch वो अब exist नहीं करता because of
Oh
Central Vista.
fuck. हाँ.
So this is probably the last time you're gonna see it, right?
हाँ.
And I being a Delhiite,
मैं तो
I-
हाँ, मैं तो भरत को बोल रहा था निकलने के बाद कि I was really hoping, though it would be very pandery, I was really hoping in that scene when he's walking with Kareena Kapoor, there should have been a car where they place like all the Rang De Basandiya characters and DJ is like on the top and मतलब ऐसा वो गाड़ी पीछे से जा रही है.
मैंने
Would have been a
और
nice Easter egg, you know.
और मैंने बोला
Yeah.
कि शाहरुख खान की फैन होती तो हो जाता उसमें क्योंकि
हाँ.
he did that kind of thing in
By
fan.
the way, Harkirat Singh said Aamir is more like Barkha. Actually, no. I think Shahrukh is more like Barkha.
No.
There you go. No, I'll tell you why. Because not as personality, but because I think people either love Barkha or completely hate her. Matlab it's I don't think there is a middle ground with Barkha. That ठीक है. मतलब there is that space. तो शाहरुख खान का तो यार मेरे हिसाब से तो कुछ ज्यादा ही प्यार करते हैं लोग. But anyway, चलो मतलब I like the actor and all, but like
सम्राट वाला सैफ को बुरा लगता होगा. And I feel bad यार. सैफ ना बहुत अच्छे films मतलब his choices are not bad and all यार.
Saif is a
बेटा.
staff reporter at the Quint. But
सैफ का पता नहीं मैं फैन नहीं हूँ सैफ का for some reason. I don't know. What do you guys think about
मुझे
सैफ?
उसके चेहरे से बहुत चिढ़ मचती है. मेरा प्रॉब्लम वो है. आई डोंट नो अबाउट द एक्टिंग और मैं वो कोई कमेंट करने के मैं वो उसमें नहीं हूँ, बट मेरे को काफी चिढ़
सैफ
मचती
मुझे
है.
हमेशा wannabe Hollywood लगता है पर like
बहुत ज्यादा ना. हाँ,
कि यार ये करते यार ये कूल होगा ऐसे मतलब
उसके चेहरे से लगता है कि यार ये मतलब ही इज ग्रोन अप ओनली कंज्यूमिंग अमेरिकन मीडिया एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट एंड ही थिंक्स ऑल दिस शिट इज लेम एज फक एंड ही वांट्स टू गेट. आई फील है उसके चेहरे से वो वाइब तो आता है. At least
थोड़ा
like Shahrukh Khan, all these people.
stoner guy ना, like a stoner
Yeah.
guy, like chill. Like,
He has a very hash smoker vibe. जिसका you know वैसा type, like a very specific kind of expensive hash he smokes. I feel no allegations over here. But yeah,
and obviously not coming from experience. This is all just here like you just
Saif's
read about it.
choices are good though, Harkirat, which is true. Saif has made, like, for example, Being Cyrus being one of them is one. I can't think of any.
Bhai,
Omkara, I don't think he had a choice, dude. His career was like, wasn't it like almost gone?
But
and then
it was a
Omkara
choice
got there.
because he put in a
Bro,
lot of
but,
effort in that film.
you know, we kind of discount him in Dil Chahta Hai, but I felt like he was really good, huh? Like
He was.
we
Dil
keep
Chahta Hai
shitting
was,
on
yeah.
him.
I feel like he played Saif Ali Khan na, in that. That was, which is, again, I'm not saying that's
Dude,
an easy thing to do.
He
but,
was in Ek Hasina Thi also, and he's done some of his best work in that film. He was very good. in that.
Also, Sacred Games.
Which is, I feel like
Sacred Games में वो लाल सिंह चड्ढा
Lal Singh. You should do an episode where all every time Bollywood actors have played Sikh roles. I would really.
and we should get a Sikh person to sort of review it.
Yeah, I was very glad that that Diljit Dosanjh got cast in Udta Punjab, because I'm like, damn dude, come on, like fucking finally you cast a Sikh person in a Sikh role. Otherwise, I felt like half of India was just assuming that Sunny Deol was Sardar, you know, because he just did so many of those roles.
But talking of Udta Punjab, bhai, this actor is so good. Who was in Udta Punjab as well, and who's Mohammed bhai in Lal Singh Chaddha.
Ajib Virj.
He was also in
Manan,
he was also in Samrat Prithviraj mein,
हाँ
जो
भाई,
villain था ना. We complimented his acting there also.
भाई क्या बंदा है और उसकी एक्टिंग कितनी प्यारी थी.
बहुत
मुझे
सही acting.
him and even that guy, that person. I forget. This one, the South guy, yeah. Naga Chaitanya.
I would like to hold the fucking phone over here because there are 44 people watching, by the way. So
Oh, nice.
thank you guys for joining us. Please like the stream, subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support us and join our WhatsApp group, we actually discuss movies all the time. We have a DissContent closed WhatsApp group. Only if you buy membership, you're allowed. So either join membership on YouTube or you can do it on Buy Me a Coffee. Link is in the description. So help support us and we'll continue this. Bharat, carry on.
नहीं, तुम लोगों को कैसी लगी उसकी यार, वो बाबा की एक्टिंग, बाला की? I really like his
Yeah,
performance.
very charming, man.
Very
I thought
charming.
it was very, very charming. And
Yeah.
I liked, like, I didn't see the Rupa joke coming, even though I knew कि ऐसा कुछ होगा, there'll be some company that they'll make. But I
Yeah.
didn't think
I
they'll do
saw it
like,
coming very early
Oh really?
oh,
because मेरे को एक तो पता था नाम नहीं. I'll tell you how. रूपा तो लग ही रहा था कि रूपा कुछ, and the moment he said चड्डी बनियान, when the चड्डी बनियान joke started rolling in, at that point I was like, ये चड्डी बनियान का business ही खोलने वाला है और नाम वो रूपा देगा क्योंकि that is how it's gonna go. I got it. It was very clear to me.
you know,
And that's
another
because I
thing.
saw the movie one night before maybe.
हाँ, क्योंकि मुझे
वो
कुछ
इतने-
ज्यादा याद
तू
नहीं
you
था.
must be waiting to catch it ना, वो भी तो एक scene रहेगा ना.
हाँ.
So I also like Shahrukh's
भाई.
this scene. That was a fun moment.
Very
VFX
fun,
कितना
yeah.
सही था यार इस मूवी का.
भाई
इधर
VFX
इधर
बहुत
इनको
अच्छा
आ
था.
गया VFX करने को यार.
हाँ, और
मेरे
उसी ने किया है, शाहरुख की
No
actually
fuck
ने
up.
किया है.
Shahrukh Khan in fan looked shittier. Okay. Shahrukh Khan in this movie, like as a younger
हाँ.
version of himself or whatever,
Correct.
looked way better.
उल्टा मैं
I-
तो इसको बोल रहा था भरत को कि इसमें the de-aging in this movie for everybody is like, even Aamir Khan has been de-aged, I feel. तो
Yeah.
the de-aging has been much better than Irishman का de-aging, where
Yeah.
Robert De Niro 80 साल का ही लगता है पूरी मूवी में with prosthetics. मतलब वो बहुत अजीब था.
भाई लेकिन ये जो de-aging और ये सब जो किया है, ये रेड चिलीज ने किया है, which has done it for the lot
They
of
are
films.
they're really making their mark on the
Yeah.
whole VFX
Bro,
animation.
they did that movie ना Zero, and
भाई
Zero
Zero में बहुत सही था.
amazing
तुमने
animation. है.
देखी है Zero?
मैंने Zero
हाँ.
देखी है recently, and
Yes,
it's not a terrible film in my opinion.
I liked it as an
Fucking
experiment.
real
Yeah.
call out for like great film, man.
But
It's a good experiment.
Bhardwaj Rangan ने review में कहा it's one of my all-time favorite movies, and
Oh,
that is what compelled me to watch it. And I'm like, okay, maybe an exaggeration. Okay, definitely an exaggeration, but a good film nonetheless. So yeah, and that's
Yes,
what I'm
but
saying. When you see, sorry, just like one last point, कि शाहरुख का experimentation मेरे को इसी सब चीजों में दिखता है कि yes, you can say that he's working with only like let's say an Anand L. Rai or like the big ones, but in every film he's tried to do something weird as fuck. Like Fan तो मुझे बहुत ही सही लगी थी. Fan I felt कि very
मैंने
few
वो भी
people
नहीं
can do
देखी
it.
है.
तो
मेरे को वो भी देखनी
By
पड़ेगी.
Fan could have been a vanity project. Huh? It could
But
have
it
been.
isn't. But it's actually questioning his own vanity, dude. It questions his own stardom. तो मेरे को तो बहुत ही cool लगी थी वो मूवी. वो इतनी मेटा है, उससे मेटा अभी तक हुआ ही. And
RK come on.
RK. But see, Rajat Kapoor is not Shah Rukh Khan.
That's all.
This
No,
level.
I feel like he did a great job, man. मतलब on that front.
I feel like Lal Singh Chaddha could have been a vanity project easy. And
I
yet
feel
it's
like
not.
every Aamir Khan movie is a bit of a vanity project. I feel
नहीं
like
रे, नहीं रे.
मेरे को वो
भाई
तो लगता है थोड़ा
दंगल
सा.
और पीके मेरे हिसाब से
दंगल तो full vanity.
full
दंगल
vanity
तो
project.
100%
PK vanity
vanity.
project नहीं है यार. PK
भाई
में वो-
दंगल में ये बंदा, like I feel like people were more excited to watch the film because the transformation and all that, वो जो video बनाया था ना, वो the crazy transformation, which is okay, great job and all that, but काफी, पर actually are we being also a little unfair?
दंगल, listen,
मेरे
दंगल
से
is a
10
Disney
kg नहीं हो
movie
रहा
ना.
ठीक है कम, तो अगर वो कोई कर रहा है तो मैं तो मानूंगा उसकी
तुम
vanity
लोगों को
थोड़ी सी.
मालूम है unrelated thought कि how did Beer Biceps become famous? He owes it to Dangal. Because
He was the guy who trained Aamir Khan,
no,
yeah?
no. He was the guy who made a video saying आप जो 40 देख रहे हैं ये
हाँ.
steroids के बिना नहीं बन सकती. And he came out with that video which became viral. And then that was one of his first big sort of viral videos, and that's how I also got to know about
So
him.
we have Aamir Khan to blame for Beer Biceps,
Yes.
basically. By the way,
आमिर खान कुछ भी अच्छा करने जाए
hold
ना.
on.
गंदा हो जाता है.
एक second. For
Boycott हो जाता है.
It's true. वो कुछ भी वो बोलता है मैं देश में मैं सत्य
भाई
में
वो
जयते
40
करूंगा मैं.
साल से मूवीज कर रहा है. 40 साल. This is the like fourth decade in which he's played a college student. How many times are you going to play a college student, man?
From
This was also
Kayamat,
like-
dude. From
यार,
Kayamat.
Hindu
I
college
wanted
में-
to know.
हाँ नहीं उससे पहले like the first movie मेला नहीं क्या नाम था the one in which केतन मेहता की movie थी ना, होली.
होली.
होली is वो होली में कॉलेज स्टूडेंट था, कयामत से कयामत में कॉलेज स्टूडेंट था, थ्री इडियट्स में कॉलेज स्टूडेंट था,
भाई जो जीता
जो जीता में
तो
कॉलेज
स्कूल
स्टूडेंट,
का स्टूडेंट था वो। हाँ
स्कूल था, और उसके
हाँ
बाद अभी
दिल
इसमें भी
चाहता है,
कॉलेज
अबे दिल
स्टूडेंट,
चाहता है,
दिल
दिल
चाहता
चाहता है
है।
कॉलेज
हाँ
स्टूडेंट, एंड देन दिस कॉलेज स्टूडेंट ब्रो. ये
थ्री
वाला में तो
इडियट्स, थ्री इडियट्स
हिंदू
बोला
कॉलेज के
गया।
सामने ना,
हाँ
हाँ थ्री इडियट्स बोला ना
हाँ
हाँ
बोला
हाँ।
बोला, अभी बोल दिया,
यार.
चल.
रंग दे बसंती डूड, रंग दे बसंती सेट इन अ कॉलेज।
नहीं गंगा बसंती में एटलीस्ट चलो ये है कि वो पास आउट हो चुका है
हाँ
3-4
चल, नहीं
साल
नहीं ओके
पहले.
हाँ। फक यू
थोड़ा सा.
सम्राज, हाउ डेयर यू accuse Aamir Khan of this. That's okay. By the way, 57 people watching, there are 24 likes. ये शर्म की बात नहीं है तो और क्या है? Please don't boycott us, okay? Fuck off. Like we're not worthy of any boycott. So please like the stream.
Are you
It really
saying
helps
that?
us push content.
Are you
So
saying that Lal Singh Chaddha is worthy of?
नहीं देख, मैं किसी को बोल नहीं रहा हूँ देख, पर मैं खुद look, I think it's stupid to boycott movies, but I don't watch half of Bollywood anyway. But I feel like if you don't want to watch a movie, don't watch it because it's a shitty movie. Don't not watch it because some fucking bot on Twitter is telling you not to watch it. Also, like 52 people, guys. This is insane. By the way, somebody has commented, before has commented, how dare Javi Koy is doing a competing live stream at this moment. Boycott. अगर कोई जैबी कोए का स्ट्रीम ये स्ट्रीम छोड़ के देखने जा रहा है तो वो चप्पल चोर है, ठीक है? मतलब वो क्या है, वो
नहीं
मीम क्या है भाई?
तुम्हें करीना कपूर,
नल्ला बेरोजगार चप्पल
तुम्हें
चोर है।
करीना कपूर की भाषा में कहूंगा तो जाओ.
तो फिर because that worked so well for her. But
अच्छा, let's come
हाँ,
back to the movie.
yes,
Lal Singh
yes.
Chaddha. I want to
हाँ.
point out something very interesting, जो कि I
हम्म.
think people are talking about it, but maybe not that much. The main tagline na, the way they changed it is very beautiful. The main line, which is he says life is like a box of chocolate. Yeah, क्या line था उसके बाद? Second क्या line?
You never
गोलगप्पे।
know.
You never know what you get,
Hmm.
which is like it doesn't. So the way they changed it is life is like a box of what? Golgappa. No matter how much you eat, you will never be full. You will always want more.
दिल भर जाएगा पर पेट भर जाएगा but दिल नहीं भरेगा. But you know, I was laughing my ass off when it started off, when even in the trailer when they were like, okay, you couldn't go with barfi, you couldn't go with laddu, you couldn't go with, you had to
हाँ,
go
क्योंकि
but
हाँ,
but by the end of the movie now,
Yeah.
I really felt like fuck man, this is a good one. मतलब
Yes.
like when you come to the, जो Forrest Gump में भी है I think, तो when you come to the source of that whole thing, and then वो, because and this is where I also loved the movie, where it managed to like really address, you know, the process of life and death and religion and all of the, and as we spoke about earlier, identity, very very well into the film. जबकि ये कुछ और भी हो सकता था, मतलब it could have been a very ridiculous kind of a
I also like that conversation between the final conversation that the mother has with Lal, where and that is I think the departure from Forrest, right? She just says that, you know, this is not a bad thing that's happening, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people die. It's just my time is over. And that is, I mean, it's a very simple thing, but it is also deeply philosophical. You don't really see that in movies, especially in Bollywood. So I felt very
a weird comparison, but the last time I felt so this thing about my own mortality in a film, like fuck man, like you're gonna die, you know, at some point, like when a film and how that hits you. Was the last time when it was in Irishman, when Joe Pesci was like this, you know? I'm not even kidding. That was a very fucking hitting moment. But I feel this is the next time I felt that since then.
Yeah, and I felt कि जहाँ पे ना they're trying to do the things that Forrest Gump has done, the similar scenes. I think those are the weak parts for me. For example, when he says ना कि मैं शायद वो ना हूँ, मैं होशियार नहीं हूँ, पर मैं प्यार करना जानता हूँ. I felt it hit me harder in the original, because that's an original film का beat. But for example, मोहम्मद पाजी के साथ जो उसका conversation होता है, which is my favorite scene in the film, where he says आपको कभी इबादत करते नहीं देखा. And that is where you see Aamir Khan talking also, by the way. So, and I felt represented.
No, so
in
that
moment.
arc, that story changed, na. I felt
Yes.
like it was a good one, and people are arguing and they saying it's the most illogical. And I was like, देख movie ये Forrest Gump है यार, ये movie ऐसे भी illogical ही है, तेरे को भागता रहता है क्या 4 साल? What do you want? It's a movie about different people's journey, and I feel like Lieutenant Dan, na, in his position, he was pro army and then anti, and he became like a very hateful person, right?
Hmm.
Now the person that is hateful in this scenario, Indian army mein veterans ko, like people are not anti-veterans, right? We are very much pro-veterans. We are bills and we support them, right? So
India,
when
there's
you,
no anti-war only. So,
Context is very different. Context is very different because over there the veterans are basically people who signed up and then they left the army, and then basically the American system abandoned them. Over here, our army is not a conscription model, so it can't, like, that doesn't happen over here. Actually, now with Agniveer, that might start to
that's
happen, but who am I to say anything about that? But yeah,
Devanshu is saying so. He's making a point.
no. So the way they changed it to basically a person from Pakistan coming here, running away from the hospital, and then kind of learning the ways of Indian people and finding out that we are just humans, whatever, and then going back. I felt like it fits there. It fits on paper also. It fits on screen also. And I don't know how people are like. It's about a person. It's a better journey, storytelling
yeah,
wise.
yeah,
And I feel like they justified every. So the way Jenny has been adapted to Kareena Kapoor's character, it's a way better journey.
100%.
It's no more about money or maybe just getting popular. It's about ambition. They
Yeah.
changed, right? So Jenny wanted to be popular, right? But like she wouldn't do anything just to get popular. Now this one, she is basically a struggler. Karina is now a struggling. Rupa is basically a struggling actress, and she is ambitious, and the ambition has gotten to her own self ruin. Like I felt like that's one of the best characters Karina has played. When has she been given a better role? Maybe a long time ago in like Chandni Bar and all that. But then still, this feels like a better film. Like even heroine had this arc, by the way. This is a very heroine.
Very
This
Wala.
is the
passion.
the arc is from Abu Salim and who was his girlfriend? Monica. No, what?
Monica Bedi. Monica
Monica
Bedi.
Bedi. So this is basically Monica
It
Bedi's arc.
is,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right.
But a better realization of the character for Jenny, na? Like a better thing. She got a lot to do.
No, but I feel like again.
She had a change of heart. Like Jenny has no change of heart, right? In the end,
Hmm.
she agrees because she has like a Kabir Singh moment. Ki, I have a child of yours, you know. So now will you marry me? That feels very off.
Yeah.
But this one doesn't. This one feels like she had a change of
Yes.
personality and heart. I felt like that was a
And you
good
could
thing.
see it with her body language, like she acted really well in that last bit. I feel it felt very raw and real, and their
Raw
chemistry.
and
Raw and real. Is that something?
no, nothing. Never mind. Okay.
And all of that, and their chemistry. I mean, that word is overused and all that, but वो अच्छा लगा मुझे. Very lived in, very sort of chill. Like, I don't want to say siblings, but yeah. Anyway.
Oh,
So there's they changed the racism and the thing to like they changed it to like class and caste and a little bit, right? You could tell they added those themes. Now that's intentional. It's a good thing. And apart from that, I think the best theme that they added was the regaining of the identity. You know, the spiritual journey of personal. I felt like the running part in this movie and the original film is about personal spirituality rather than like a religion, you know. Not he's not Forrest Gump doesn't run for he runs for himself, right? He runs for his own personal thing. Now Lal Singh Chaddha, after running, when he comes back and he sees his face and his thing, I felt like after a lot of struggle in any person's life, they kind of come back to their own self, right? Their
Their
own
roots.
identity. I felt like it's worked. Like and it fits so well with the idea of Forrest Gump, socioeconomics, micro, whatever, and then inside it like a human and a personal journey and I felt like it fits. Somehow they made it work better than how Forrest Gump did.
I also, I mean, I posted about this on my Insta, and I feel like I want to elaborate on that. Thoda sa maybe an overreading, but I felt like there was a very clear matrilineal sense. So he's always tracing back his identity to some Nanaji, Parnanaji. The same for Bala's character. So they're both trying to be the best versions of their family from the mother's side. And interestingly, there is not even a mention of the father. Like लाल सिंह चड्ढा का बाप क्या करता है पता नहीं. वो एक जगह
just left.
वो बोलती है, वो फादर पूछता है उसको, जब चर्च का फादर, कि आपका आदमी मतलब आपका हस्बैंड कहाँ है. He's like वो तो परदेश में है. So implying that either he's dead or he's left them something.
Basically, no, dude, this is a thing in Punjab. This is
There's
a
a
big
thing.
thing. This is so in Punjab, a lot of people who migrate, a lot of them just tend to abandon their families once they reach wherever they are going, because
So,
there's a lot of
हाँ,
migration.
so my point was that it is clearly telling, and I don't think that this was the case in Forrest
Lal
Gump.
Forrest Gump में the mother basically says कि he's on a vacation and then they show that
And the
he
whole
is they're having sex and stuff, right? So the
पूरा
mother
नाना
basically
परनाना वाला तो सीन कुछ था ही नहीं उसमें, right? In
वो
हाँ
Forrest
of
Gump.
course था
Of
है
course था क्या? Okay, then I
हाँ
forgot.
हाँ same exact cut to cut ऐसे
Okay,
ही है
same था.
World War One World War Two ऐसे ही
हाँ.
दिखाते हैं
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा.
पूरा shot by shot copied है. The
और
thing that is different is that the mother says in the film, like basically the mother says कि you know what when he asked where is your husband, he says he's gone. Then the mother says basically it cuts to them having sex in the house, right? And then the principal comes out and says he join the school or whatever. Huh? So that is Forrest Gump is a very cheap joke. I feel like it kind of ridicules the mother's character somehow. And in this movie, they show that the mother is like, I will come and clean your house and cook for you. And that kind of is like, you're from a rich house. Will you do this? It is a better take on class or whatever. Like it fits the.
And I feel the way they have given a hat tip to the original film in the final frame of the film, Lal Singh Chaddha, that he's sitting on that bench, and it's very similar to the original bench. And again, maybe I'm overreading this, but that is the same bench that Lal Singh Chaddha's mother used to sit on.
हाँ, वही
Yeah.
So
तो,
he's
हाँ.
sort of walking in the footsteps of his mother, and the film Lal Singh Chaddha is walking in the footsteps of Forrest Gump.
ये थोड़ा
So-
हाँ.
But I could sense, I could feel that it is sort of like the film is meta as per like okay, maybe I'm not explaining well. The
हाँ.
film is doing what Lal Singh Chaddha's character is doing to his family. He's looking for meaning in his lineage. The way Lal Singh Chaddha sort of looks at Forrest Gump and adapts it, is very faithful to it, but has his own thing to say. So I felt that there was some sort of design to it. Because mother का बहुत ही specific है वो, कि वो बोलती है लाल सिंह चड्ढा को कि मैं यही बैठूंगी, तू आ और मैं यही मिलूंगी तुझे. And Lal Singh Chaddha looks at that place, and in fact he wants his son to say
His son was like, I don't.
नहीं, don't wait. And he still sits there. So
yeah.
it felt to me कि कहीं ना कहीं ये लोग सोच तो रहे at least इस बारे में कि what are we adapting and why are we adapting and what are we adding, in a way what is our identity vis-a-vis our predecessors, that way. Maybe.
Samraj का
by the
comment
way,
है.
हाँ, Samraj का comment मैं भी पढ़ने वाला था. He said this is some Instagram film page level thing. @Bharat JK. By the way, there are 47 people watching. 33 likes. So please just drop a like. It doesn't cost anything. Just drop a like. It'll help push our video forward. My friend Shravan has commented Khanna likes to wear Lal Singh Chaddi. This is true actually. I can also show you, and I'm also selling them on our Buy Me a Coffee page. So if you go to a Buy Me a Coffee page, the highest tier is you get a chaddi from me. Not if you pay extra, you can get a used one also. But 14 people did not enjoy LSE. Yeah, मतलब हम लोग भी ऐसा कुछ होने. By the way, we have to get to talking about Aamir Khan's acting. Yes, but before we get to talking about the acting, Praveen Jain said, I just watched Lal Singh Chaddha. It's a total disaster, such a slow and boring movie, which I kind of get. For a lot of people, it might be too, वो I can understand. But with propaganda peddling, इसमें क्या propaganda लगा? I'd be very curious. So please tell us in the comments.
Propaganda क्या हो सकता है? मतलब पता नहीं, मुझे तो
नहीं तो ये that's why I'm curious. So I'm like, let this guy answer. Meanwhile, while we talk about the acting, so which one of you all wants to talk about Aamir Khan's acting? Because I have opinions on this. So yeah,
I felt like when he was young, and basically without the beard and stuff, the de-aging plus his acting didn't work together. Like there was some fuck up happening there, and it was not the de-aging. It was like there was a mix of de-aging. Like it felt like his eyes and the placement of his eyes and eyebrows and stuff. It didn't fit, and that's probably also because we have seen him as a kid, right? We've seen him young. He looked like he was such a good looking chap back then. When you're trying to tell कि Aamir looked like this at 18, the Hindu college वाला नहीं ऐसा नहीं दिखता था ना वो. So he was a very different looking Aamir यार. That क़यामत से क़यामत तक अंदाज अपना.
अरे पर वो तो नहीं होगा ना. It'll obviously be Robert De Niro won't look like Taxi Driver in Irishman. I mean we expect that also ना कि de-aging करेगा तो He looked like a slightly wrinkle-free version of his current self. That's what I guess they mean when they say de-aging. But no, about the acting per se, मतलब तुम लोग को वो कैसा लगा?
मेरे को एक्टिंग से प्रॉब्लम पहले 10-15 मिनट में थी बिकॉज आई वाज सीइंग समथिंग न्यू, समथिंग वियर्ड एज फक, राइट? बट आई फेल्ट दैट okay, this is my take on whoever I've met with certain, physical or mental, disabilities, unke certain tics hote hain, and they speak and talk and behave a certain way, right? You can find it weird, you can find it whatever funny, but after a point you get used to it. And you both know that we know common,
We have a friend
we have a friend, very very close friend, who once you get used to what he, how he behaves, you get very used to it and it's normal. And I felt Aamir Khan did a good job of making it consistent. I did not see it slip. I did not feel like कि अच्छा ये scene में तो है ही नहीं, गायब हो गया. I felt that, for example, with Shah Rukh Khan's thing in My Name is Khan, कि यार जब इमोशन सीन करना होता है तो वो गायब हो जाता है, मतलब उसका he becomes a normal Shah Rukh Khan. I didn't feel that. In fact, ये मैंने सॉरी बट मैं 2 बार देखी है फिल्म. दूसरी बार देखने में आई रियलाइज दिस दैट व्हेनेवर ही कम्स आउट ऑफ अ मेमोरी ना, लाइक व्हेनेवर ही कम्स फ्रॉम अ फ्लैशबैक बैक इनटू द प्रेजेंट, he takes like a deep breath, like this, and he's maintained it, and he's maintained it even in the scenes where we don't go into flashback. So that's a cue I think he gave himself as an actor कि यार whenever I'm thinking of a memory, I will go into this and I've come back into it with like a deep breath. So बोलना
नहीं
मेरे को लगता है कि it didn't seem inconsistent to me. You can say it's odd, the tics might be too much.
I'll tell you what is happening. Okay. I feel like it's reminding people that it's Aamir, and that's taking them out of the movie. And that's very like a very basic shit, like, because generally when you watch Aamir na, you kind of forget, you kind of don't see Aamir. Like in Dangal also, you kind of sometimes you forget that it's Aamir Khan. You feel like it's a different person, right? He tries he has managed it before to like get lost into the character and make us get lost into the character, but this time it's Aamir. It's very apparent.
So my opinion on the acting, which I was saying was a strong opinion, which also, by the way, Bharat, तू अकेला पूरे boycott का ये भार उठा रहा है अपने by watching the movie twice. But I felt similar to what Bharat said. I did not find the acting problematic. The same as Bharat, we were watching together. We were talking about this also. कि वो पहले 10 मिनट में annoying लग रहा था थोड़ा सा, because it, again, as Himanshu also said, it reminded me of PK. All right. And तो थोड़ा सा वो शुरू में there is a bit of a teething problem with the acting, I admit. But I agree with Bharat, and I feel like a lot of the mockery that Aamir Khan is receiving for his acting is actually, I feel like a lot of people would have problems dealing with people who have autism and have tics, So if you like, if this is a problem to you, that if they're doing too much or have some sort of a tic where they're looking, that is the thing. I mean, what else is he supposed to do, right? Like and I feel like that was convincing because, as Bharat said, it was consistent. So I thought that I didn't find the acting to be problematic at all. Once you get into it, I think which is also, I think, the reason why me included, everybody else also thought the acting was really terrible in the trailer. Because in the trailer, we only see it for like 2 minutes. So it doesn't set in. And we are not allowed to see the consistency.
And it's a very different approach from Forrest Gump. Because Forrest Gump में उसके as such कोई visible tics, at least visual, बोलने वाले tics नहीं है. He will probably have like an eye roll or something like that.
He has like an accent, like a southern accent. Which is
that an impediment?
He doesn't say Jenny, right?
पंजाबी की जो धज्जियां उड़ाई गई ना, but मैं तो उस पर तो मैं जा नहीं रहा हूँ, because I get it. भाई पंजाबी, it's like a mix of, it's basically like what would happen if I spoke Punjabi, because I understand all of it, but I speak Hindi mostly ना, तो अभी तो वो मैं अगर बात करूंगा तो मेरे आधे वर्ड हिंदी में होंगे और आधे पंजाबी में होंगे.
It's like that जीतू वाला मीम ना, बीच में तो अड्डे तुसी डाल देना है.
हाँ वो तो अड्डे तुसी वाला ही इसने फॉर्मूला
है क्या,
which is like, for example, Rang De Basanti had pretty much very Thet type Punjabi, which I think Kiran Kher carries that burden for everybody. But
why did they not? Because okay, we made that show, right, Ghar Wapsi, so we had like a person whom we paid and whose sole job was to check fucking dialect. and pronunciation, which is why you get, authenticity.
I don't think they were going for authenticity.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not going
I
on.
don't think because I feel like they didn't want to isolate. I think that was very intentional कि वो Hindi और Punjabi, because it Yamla Bangla दीवाना तो बना ही नहीं look that they only want audience from Punjab and Haryana. मतलब they want the rest of the country to also watch it. So वो भी एक element हो जाता है. 39 likes. I can't stress this enough. Please fucking like. There were like more than 50 people watching us today. I noticed there were 57 people, which is very cool.
Tell me one thing. Did you guys feel emotionally invested in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Did
cried.
It worked. Yeah, it did.
तू रोया गया भारत?
यार
मेरे
मैं
साथ तो नहीं रोया था.
हाँ तेरे साथ नहीं रहा. When I was with Aishwarya ना, and I was watching it in IMAX. I think IMAX did it for me because थोड़ा सा high emotion, high drama हो गया था. But yeah, overall I think second half में बहुत heavy था यार. मतलब it was not a very simple watch. It was very heavy for me. But yeah.
No, even I felt emotionally invested. I think it worked there. It worked after such a long time, like a movie came. And I think the music that does it. I think the music is exceptionally good. Which was not in like movie निकलने से पहले जब Spotify में album या जो भी आया था, and I heard it, I didn't feel the same. So the film does something else.
said, Ghar Wapsi, man, what a show, so simple yet effective. Thank you. Bharat, those of you who don't know, Bharat is a co-writer, and we've done our previous episode of the podcast, which you can find on YouTube, is on Ghar Wapsi with the team behind Ghar Wapsi, so please go check that out as well if you'd like to. Also, Harkirat Singh has said this episode is an anomaly. Aditya is speaking the least. This is I must correct that very quickly. But do you guys have anything else to say on the movie? Because I feel like all of us thought good about the movie.
Are there any negatives? I was thinking of something.
There is plenty of negatives. I mean, for me, the negatives are that it's a total Bollywood fare. Matlab it's again, as you said, it doesn't delve into politics. But again, I feel like all the negatives have a good enough caveat for why it is negative. So I can't blame that enough. Though I do feel it's a little boring, but then again, Forrest Gump is also that. मतलब वो pace तो Forrest Gump से लिया तो I guess that applies.
मुझे minor blemishes थे from the perspective of playing safe. क्योंकि playing safe में eventually यही हो जाता है, if you have to make a point, you have to have a scapegoat. And इसमें मुझे लगा कि Christianity को हल्का सा diss किया है, क्योंकि
थोड़ा ज्यादा हो गया.
थोड़ा सा
मैं तेरे को याद है बोल रहा था कि they were like कि आमिर खान saying कि मैं दूसरी minority का मेरे ऊपर मत देखो please.
मतलब भाई और मतलब एक तो जितने भी मतलब सारे मुस्लिम कह रहा हूँ, सॉरी, सारे क्रिश्चियन इन दिस फिल्म आर सॉर्ट ऑफ नेगेटिव. एक तो वो फादर, रूपास फादर तो मर्डरर ही है, स्ट्रेट अप वाइफ बीटर मर्डरर. ठीक है, और बोलता भी मतलब स्पेसिफिकली लाल सिंह चड्ढा बोलता है, आई मीन मे बी ही इज जस्ट स्टेटिंग द फैक्ट्स, बट ही सेज कि वो उन्होंने तो भाग के शादी की थी ना क्रिश्चियन से. एंड द फादर इन द स्टार्टिंग, लाइक द church ka father, he's also shown like sort of in a negative light. And I think they overcompensated even with that Maulvi Saab. You see that Maulvi Saab saying 72 hure hain aapko milengi.
I don't remember where was this.
Muhammad ji is watching this on TV.
Oh sorry.
That guy
correct.
And one of my friends pointed out कि उसकी आवाज जो है ना, जो मौलवी साहब, वो आवाज मोदी जी जैसी है उनकी. And when I saw it the second time, like, हाँ यार, मोदी जैसी आवाज है.
I feel like all these older people who are like a little distinct ना, उनकी सबकी voice थोड़ा सा खराच है ना आवाज में. No offense to anybody, but
तो वो मुझे हल्का सा लगा कि वो किया है just to sort of avoid any kind of problem. थोड़ा सा they have thrown them under the bus, but not in any major way. I feel that is pretty.
Harkirat Singh, yeah, there are lots of funny comments also, but Harkirat Singh has said you should also talk about Darlings. यार मुझे देखनी है, but मेरे को spoiler मिल गया कहीं से. तो मेरे को Twitter पे मैं ऐसे ही scroll कर रहा था तो मुझे spoiler दिख गया, तो I don't know. What else? You guys want to just see the comments and then we can go to recommendations?
Yep.
And yeah, so Shah Rukh and Zoya would be great. Have they never done they've never. Only the 2 minutes in Luck by Chance.
मतलब दिल धड़कने दो में वो कुत्ता बना था.
Mr. Ping is definitely being sarcastic. But I felt mortality during Gehraiyaan.
भाई वो एपिसोड अपना बहुत सही था यार, गहराइयाँ
मजा
वाला.
आया था. Please go watch our Gehraiyaan episode also.
We need more
Very fun.
of those movies to come out here. I am waiting for a very shitty movie, like a terrible fucking film.
भाई
भाई
रक्षाबंधन
रक्षाबंधन की बात, you guys wanna give दो शब्द उस पर भी हो जाए. मैंने
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 मूवी
देखा
नहीं
ही
देखी
नहीं
है, पर
है.
मुझे पूरा प्लॉट मालूम है.
मेरे को पता चल गया कि एंड में क्या होता है. तो
मुझे
अब
भी, मुझे भरत नहीं बताया.
कर दे यार, बोल दे
guys,
तू.
so apparently in the movie they have tried to reverse the sexism basically to show that how a very sexist, very asshole middle class kind of Delhi guy
हम्म.
who just wants to marry off his sisters and dowry दे रहा है वगैरह वगैरह, उसका कैसे हृदय परिवर्तन होता है. एंड हृदय परिवर्तन ऐसे होता है कि उसकी एक बहन जिसकी
Spoiler,
हाँ,
spoiler alert ना.
भारी spoiler
Raksha
alert.
Bandhan, if anyone of you all, are interested in going and watching, so this is a
और
spoiler
उसका
alert for
भारी
you.
स्पॉइलर है, मतलब
हाँ.
लाइफ
We're
चेंजिंग
giving you
स्पॉइलर.
last spoiler. हाँ,
या
तो please.
विच इज कि उसको उसका दिमाग तब खुलता है जब उसकी बहन जिसको जिसको उसने बड़े प्यार से मतलब बहुत सारी डाउरी देके
His favorite
his
sister.
favorite because she's fair and she's thin and all of
She's
that.
the normal, like
Yeah.
whatever. She doesn't have any what he considers defects.
या उसकी शादी हो जाती है एंड डाउरी में उसका हस्बैंड उसको मार देता है, मार डालता है. सो दैट इज या दैट इज द फ्लिप.
So then the movie is not anti-dowry, the movie is anti-murder, which is very, very basic thing to be against.
So
And,
that's not problematic from my end. मतलब अगर if it's anti-murder, I'm supporting it.
And good one, good one, Himanshu.
playing safe. I
But
see.
हाँ, भाई मैंने बताया मुझे बहुत मजा आया. And this is also going to be my one of my recommendations, which is Lallan Topper Saurav Dwivedi. Very randomly there was a promotional video for Raksha Bandhan. Okay.
Oh.
And where Akshay Kumar was also there, और एक दो उसको political सवाल भी पूछ लिए. ठीक है उसका, and that's a very very fun kind of an interview. And dude, everything that Anand Rai and Akshay Kumar were saying, and जो मुझे बाद में पता चला कि उसके फिल्म के पहले they are thanking Suraj Barjatya in 2022. मतलब this shouldn't even, it should be like insert here you're thanking Suraj Barjatya. मतलब it's like that, कि I don't know how you. This is also a thing of victimization. I feel like people who जिनके ideas मर चुके हैं ना, जिनके ideas बहुत पुराने थे और पूरी दुनिया उनको बोल चुकी है whatever right wing left wing you are कि please sir thank you for your ideas, please go back home. तो वो I feel like eventually there is a resurgence of it with देखो हम तो victim है, हमारे idea तो आजकल कोई मानता ही नहीं है, हमारी values भाई ऐसा मतलब. And also as far as I understand from the film, I haven't seen it so I might be wrong, but it's like you're making a film जहाँ पर तुम ये भी नहीं कर रहे कि कि खाली शादी करना है इन लोगों को. मतलब there is no वो तो काफी बेसिक चीज नहीं होगी कि उनका खुद का कुछ है. No, not one of them is like कि नहीं we are fuck this religious work dude, I don't want to get married. Like why is that not a. But anyway, should we move on to the recommendations?
Let
Himanshu,
us.
I hope you've got one today. You haven't today also.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't
Have
have
you
any.
watched a cool video? Have you read a book, or you watched a cool movie recently which you'd like to tell people? Okay, Himanshu, sorry, Bharat, please you tell me while
I'm
Himanshu
thinking. I'm
thinks.
thinking.
हाँ.
Now you tell.
तो मेरा एक तो वो लल्हंडो वाला काफी फनी वीडियो, दूसरा संदेश भाटिया's interview with Jignesh Mewani was very good, man. I mean, I thought that was a very good interview. Third is a book I have started reading. किधर गया? I've started reading recently, and I'm only like 100 pages into it, but it's a lot of fun. मतलब it's fun. मतलब it's a pretty intense novel that way, but काफी सही है. It's called The Joke by Milan Kundera. So this is the book, and this I weirdly enough I found this recommendation from Slavoj Zizek. मैं 3 बजे सुबह Slavoj Zizek को कोई random reel देखा, and in that like he was recommending this thing because he's like everyone talks about that Milan Kundera book, the popular one, the क्या नाम क्या उसका,
Unbearable lightness.
lightness of being, हाँ ऐसा कुछ तो. So he's like everyone talks about that, but The Joke, which is his first book, and the premise is fascinating. So the premise is basically it's Czechoslovakia during the Cold War and under Soviet rule, and this guy who basically he's not even like an anti-communist, he's like pro-communism, but वो एक बार कोई तो ऐसा joke crack कर देता है, which is like he says Hail Trotsky, like just sarcastically, and that is taken seriously and he's put into like a gulag kind of a situation or like a camp. So it's about like oppression. It's like a satire almost on oppression during Cold War Soviet era, whatever. So very interesting book. मैं अब तक 100 पेज पढ़े तो बहुत सही है. बाकी भरत तेरा कुछ है, तू कुछ देखा
मैं
है?
तो थोड़ा सॉलिडारिटी में एक वो देना चाहता हूँ रिकमेंडेशन, बिकॉज सलमान रुश्दी पे अटैक हुआ इस हफ्ते,
ओह यस,
and
हाँ.
like I have sort of grown up reading Salman Rushdie and sort of a lot of अब मतलब आप किसी भी कुकून में रहते हो तो you don't understand, you've not seen the world entirely, right? So his books kind of became my entry point into India as such.
Same, yeah.
So Midnight's Children, Moore's Last Sigh, Ground Beneath Her Feet, or Grimus, all of these like early books informed me of those. And one of my favorites is The Moore's Last Sigh. Even Satanic Verses I read as a kid because it was banned. Although I didn't enjoy it too much, but it was an interesting book nonetheless. Lekin The Moore's Last Sigh is based largely in the 50s and 60s India, in Mumbai, South Bombay high society, 50s and 60s, and it has real life characters like Guru Dutt and Wahida Rahman and all of these people, and it sort of talks about that era. So if you are into modern history, and if you're into like how like Bombay and how it was, how it used to be, this is a very very interesting book to read.
तो
The Moore's Last Sigh.
मिस्टर पिंक इज आस्किंग सलमान रश्दी इंडिया का है भाई, बम्बई का छावा है वो, मतलब वो ही इज ओरिजिनली फ्रॉम हियर.
Yeah.
And I personally, my connection to Rushdie is also like I started reading him very late. I read Midnight's Children and I've read Shame, and I have his biography, which I bought it a few years ago. Now seems like a good time to read it, which is called Joseph Anton, which is about his years in hiding. And also I also have Satanic Verses. तो मैंने उसका भी कुछ 50 पेज पढ़ा, which again I didn't think that was very but anyway, what the fuck, I have not read the full book, so I can't critique it. But मेरे को उतनी interesting लगी जितनी मेरे को how quickly Shame and Midnight's Children managed to grab me. And those two books, so I would highly recommend. I want to read Moore's Last Sigh.
Dude, you'll like it.
Yeah.
You'll love it because it's Bombay of that times.
Correct.
So yeah.
So, but yeah, man. I mean, this is what happened to him is quite sad. But apparently, he's doing better now.
Yeah.
As his agent has said that he's able to talk again, which is good. But
Anyway.
yeah, Himanshu, any recommendations from you or no? फटाफट बोल, जो भी, हाँ या नहीं बोल, एक चीज.
यार I didn't get to watch a lot of things this time, but I think मैं अभी आज देख रहा था Little Miss Sunshine, which has been your recommendation for a long time.
Great movie.
Yeah, and it's a good film. It's on Netflix or Amazon Prime, one of them, and I felt like it was a good time to watch so many.
You know, Little Miss Sunshine is a great inspiration for anyone out there who is not involved in the film industry, would wants to write their own movie, because मैं उसके writer के बारे में पढ़ रहा था. I forget the writer's name now, but he or she, whoever the screenwriter is, that person was working as a clerk, some random place in America. They were working as a clerk in somebody's office, and they had this idea for a film, and this person just kept writing like in their while their job was on.
Lord.
And that's how Little Miss Sunshine ended up being like it went to Sundance, and then I think it won best screenplay also, I think, Oscar. So, and it's तूने देखी है Bharat?
नहीं, मैंने नहीं देखी यार.
Oh dude, dude, you need to watch this movie. It's damn good. It's very very good. Yeah. Anyway, so that I guess brings us to the conclusion of this episode. Thank you guys for watching, and you can also listen to the podcast on Spotify, Stitcher. We have updated, I think, all episodes. So this one will also be up there. Please, if you'd like to support us, subscribe to the channel for sure. Like the stream, please don't be a dick. Just like the fucking stream. And if you'd like to support, if you really like what we do, then you can join our WhatsApp group where you can discuss movies with us and other a pretty large community now. And you can join that WhatsApp group by joining our YouTube membership and then mailing me, and I can add you to the group. And you can also join via Buy Me a Coffee, the link for which is in the description. So please do all these things if you'd like to, and we'll see you next week with another movie. You can give us suggestions in the comments of what movie we should discuss next week, though I feel like clearly when we do topical shit, people seem to show up. So maybe we can also sell ourselves out a little bit. So which is good. Matlab I am pro that right now. But तो हाँ, next week कुछ तुम लोग के पास, is there any movie releasing in this week that we can? Nope. Oh, Nope is
coming on
now.
19th को आ रहा है ना. Nope. I'm excited about that.
Oh fuck, nice. Then we can do it on. We can do
Yeah.
an episode on Nope, and we will try to watch something else as well. Oh no, fuck, sorry, no. Better Call Saul ka last episode is releasing tomorrow morning. So I would like to. Neither of these fuckers have watched Better Call Saul despite my insistence over years. And it's a masterpiece of cinema, TV, whatever you want to call it. Storytelling. I mean, just fiction. How you're supposed to depict fiction on screen and how you're supposed to
Hmm.
tie characters without them seeming drawn out or kali you're spinning a yarn, वो नहीं करके, how do you manage these things? It's a massive example of that. And I've actually spoken to Vaibhav from Chalchitra Talks about this, and he will probably, I will have to check again, but that is most likely going to happen, where we will discuss Better Call Saul soon. So that should happen hopefully soon. So stay tuned, please subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.